The big boy 3-liter Supra managed 35 miles per gallon in our fuel economy testing, so what's the little brother gonna do? Let's go find out. We're going to head out on the highway and do 50 miles out and 50 miles back, averaging 70 miles per hour to get you a realistic highway fuel economy number for this Supra 2-liter. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at it. This one in a nice strong red color compared to the bright yellow of the last one we had. 2-liter Supra is a different character than the 3-liter car. It's a little bit more light-hearted, a little bit fun. It's fun to toss around. They tuned this motor, still have plenty of grunt, and this BMW 2.0 turbo has always been good in all of its applications, so I suspect it's going to get really good fuel economy and be a decent highway cruiser in general. If you do want to see more on the Supra, we've got a test of its JBL audio system, we've obviously got highway fuel economy test of the 3-liter, and some DM test drive reviews. So why do we do this test? Well, the EPA's highway fuel economy test, which gives the Supra 32 miles per gallon in this spec, that test only averages 48 miles per hour. We know there are people who take their vehicles on long road trips and would like to know what sort of numbers they can realistically expect in the real world. In order to do that, we're going to head over to the gas station here, fill up. Boy, look at the ridiculous truck. How often do you think he actually has it off-road? Jeez. Anyway, we're going to head over to the gas station here, fill up, go out and do 100 miles, come back, fill up at the same pump using the same 3-click fueling method, and get a result. Some things to note for today. Outside temperature is 62 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to be very similar weather to the last one we tested. Tire pressures have been set to the door placard 32 psi cold. We're going to run the climate control at 73 degrees auto. Now this might use the air conditioner, but we got to be comfortable in here, and that's how most people travel on the highway. So let's hop out and fill it up. 6.554 gallons going in for our initial fill. Keep banging my head on certain parts of the car. This interior is so tight. Before we actually start the engine, we're going to reset our trip computer and our GPS, and we're ready to begin. Only 2 different drive modes in the Supra. You've got normal and sport. So we're going to do this test in normal. We're going to head over nice and easy to the highway, about half a mile away, pick up the test from there. The goal of this test isn't to hypermile. We're not trying to get the best possible fuel economy out of this car, but rather a realistic fuel economy number that should be achievable in everyday sort of situations. In order to do that, we're going to get up to highway speed at a reasonable pace and set our cruise control to a GPS indicated 72 miles per hour. We should have no problem averaging 70 over this test. It's a Sunday afternoon. Don't usually love to record on Sundays, but I've been traveling all week. This car goes back tomorrow, so we've got to fit it in where we can. Okay, looking at our GPS, it looks like in classic BMW fashion, the car's speedometer is a little bit higher than the GPS by a few miles per hour. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring my phone mount. Let's set that in about 74. Looks like it's giving us 72. Wind noise is pretty good in here. We do have a good amount of road noise though. We've got adaptive cruise control, so it should make for a decent highway cruise. Alright, we're going to continue on with the test and catch up with you at the end. In the meantime, enjoy this time lapse of the entire trip. Coming into the end of the highway fuel economy test here in the 2-liter Supra, I'm pretty ready to get out of the car here. It's not very comfortable. It's so cramped in here. I'm always hitting things. I just noticed a little bit ago that the HVAC was actually set at 75 degrees. At one point I must have bumped it while I was reaching for the volume or something. There's not much good space for anything to go. Your arm can't rest up on the windowsill. It's too high. I've hit my head on this side element. It's just not a great highway cruiser. And when you're not getting the 3-liter to really propel yourself with some amazing force, I don't really know why you'd spend 48 grand to get this car versus something like a BRZ or a Miata. But we are getting 42 miles per gallon. Very impressive from this little BMW 2-liter turbo. Once we get back to the gas station, we'll calculate what that actually comes out to, but I wouldn't be too surprised to see that be true. And I'm really surprised that the EPA gets these cars so wrong. And I guess that's because there's a lot of speeding down and slowing up, and this does have a pretty aggressive throttle tuning, so maybe it just burns a lot of extra fuel to accelerate in the EPA tests. But this thing it's a very efficient car and a very efficient powertrain, this 8-speed automatic along with the 2-liter turbo. It's a shame that it's not a little bit more comfortable in here. 2.626 gallons going in for our final fill. 108.7 divided by 2.626 is giving us 41.4 miles per gallon, rounding down to 41. That is a very impressive number given the EPA's rating is only 32. So if we take 41 miles per gallon times the 13.7 gallon fuel tank, you're getting a cruising range in this 2-liter Supra of 560 miles. Not bad at all for a car this size. Like I said, it's just a little bit of a shame that it's not a bit more comfortable, a bit better at eating up those miles, considering it can do it with such little cost. Although you do have to remember it's also premium fuel, so that's going to be an extra cost. Thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the Supra, check the links in the description, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.